The inside game versus the outside game. So I'm not talking about like personally, internally versus externally. What I'm talking about is what the industry insiders know versus what the newbies think the industry is all about from the outside. So one of just take for example e-commerce. So when you're first getting into e-commerce, selling things online, you may approach it very much as as wow, let me get my ads to work perfectly, and then I will make lots of money on every time whenever I'm advertising. I'll make lots of money on directly on that, and this will be great. I'll sell worldwide, or at least to the entire U.S., and this is going to be fantastic. And there are cases where that is the case, where you can sell profitably initially, but I would say that by and large, that is not like the economics of advertising do not typically support that degree of profitability. Now, maybe you can debate that point, but the insiders know that a lot of times that first sale to a customer is break even or actually unprofitable, and that the real way you make money is by having a large list of past customers who will potentially order again, and it's the emails that actually create the profitable revenue stream. So the ads are important for customer acquisition and building that list, but it's not that first order that makes you any money. That it's the orders that come after the first order that actually make you any money. So that's just an example of how the inside game is played versus how the you might think the game is played just looking at it from the outside. Um, so it's interesting, the thing I think that is unfortunate is that when people on the outside are being marketed to, it's much more easy to kind of scam them, if you will. So, like, let's say I was trying to, you know, I wanted to bring on clients in e-commerce, and I do have some e-commerce clients, by the way, which is why I know some of these things. And I said, hey, imagine spending $5 on Facebook and making $10 for every $5 you spend. And potentially I could get some newbies, some startups to sign up with me, being like, wow, this is an amazing promise that he's making, this amazing picture that he's painting, of like, wow, I put in $5 into the vending machine and now it pops $10. And so that's the unfortunate side of the inside outside dichotomy, is that people on the outside, people who are just getting into it, the newbies, are potentially much easier to be scammed. And then, after a few bad experiences, they may either give up or reset their expectations, find out what the real insiders know, and go and roll with that. So I think that, and how much better would it have been for the newbies to just know offhand, or to know right at the get go, like, hey, look, we can build a very profitable company over time. We're going to need a large list that we can email, and we're going to normally take a loss on the front end. But lifetime value of the customers, if it's high enough, can lead to a very profitable business. And can you support that and sustain that growth? And if you can, awesome. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. So I'm sure there's many other industries where the insider outsider dichotomy exists, and the getting the inside perspective, I think, is what I find to be interesting, and probably what most people do, for that matter. But I wonder. So, for instance, one idea that I'm interested in is acquiring local businesses, and from the outside, it looks very appealing. It's like, hey, buy a cash flowing business, and the business pays itself off, and ta-da! 3, 5 years from now, you own this cash producing asset. You can either resell it or just keep it because you like money in your mailbox every month or whatever, and life is great. And that's sort of the newbie outside, I think, view or version. This is kind of how some people market the idea of business acquisition too. So I'm skeptical, because usually the inside version is that there's usually a genuine opportunity in most industries, in my view. Not all, maybe, but most. Some industries are contracting, they're dying, and there's really not much there to be had, but on the whole, any industry that has a reasonable amount of growth to it, usually there is opportunity in that industry. However, the opportunity is not necessarily what it appears to be, because I guess there's a lot of reasons probably, but one of them being that the obvious ways to extract value from a market are often taken. And so, if you think about it, if e-commerce was just as easy as put any kind of lame product on a website, spend $5 in advertising and get $10 back out, well, especially in something that's so scalable like that, why would large companies not just spend insane amounts of money and just flood the platform and make the overall costs go up? And probably that's what they've done. I mean, like it makes sense that from a supply and demand standpoint, that advertising will always cost as much as what the advertisers can bear. And so that's not a super cheery thought, right? But so the inside game typically is you have to find either ways to have extremely effective, like more effective than average marketing. It could come down to conversion rate optimization, what the website experience is. It could be social proof. It could be the number of reviews you have. It could be that your ads really are that much better. But in general, if you think about it, the advertising costs on a platform are going to be the maximum that advertisers are willing to pay. So think about it. If let's say you're a contractor, right? And you do some type of home services like HVAC or plumbing or something like that, and your average ticket is, let's say, $500. All right, so it makes sense that if let's say your average profit on a job is $150, okay? Hopefully it's higher than that, but let's say it's $150. So it makes sense that there's going to be kind of a cap on how much people are going to be willing to spend on Facebook to advertise that service based on how much money they can make per job. But it does make sense that the cap would be fairly close to the break-even point, right? Because if you've got aggressive people in your market who are trying to grow, and you can grow your customer base at approximately break-even, or maybe a little bit above break-even, or even a little bit below break-even, it makes sense that you would pay that much on Facebook to advertise to get that growth for your company, right? Because once you got that customer base, and then you get that lifetime value kicking in. So when you think, because advertising is an acquisition channel, and acquisition is based on lifetime, or can be, acquisition economics can be based on lifetime value. That means that the market will naturally price advertising at a cost that is at or above the profitability level for the industry. So anyway, got a little sidetracked here maybe from the inside outside scoop, but a little bit of marketing speak for you today.